We the market is moving up tremendously. We had a tremendous day. It's backing off a little bit. I have a potential trade on you buy the underlying you buy the and and I really don't have a good answer for you on Fibonacci retracement. But I do believe that we will eventually retest. But right now, the SPY is above 280, which is absolutely amazing. Now, also this morning we had a tremendous move on Tesla. It was up $60. And it is above 700, which I believe means that at least for the time being, we may be once again in somewhat of a bull market, which is great. We have a bull rally. I wouldn't have I still think though there's a lot of danger in the market for being long, and that is basically that we have a situation where as the economy reopens, a lot of things will not reopen. Now, interestingly enough, I received my stimulus check this morning, which is kind of amazing. I thought that was kind of amazing that happened. And there you go. So it's just something that is really, really interesting how this market is very, very hard to figure out. I am currently all in cash. I closed up my short positions on the spider yesterday, and I went basically all cash. Now I am looking possibly to enter a long position, and I will give you an idea, kind of a look-see on that. On Periscope, I have let's see, I have something that I can show you on Periscope, hopefully, to show you how profitable a trade that would be. Basically, buying Tesla, and currently Tesla is selling for $7.27 a share. You buy it. What the way the trade works is, you buy 100 shares of Tesla, which I know that for some of you you probably can't do that, but you buy 100 shares of Tesla. And then you turn around and you sell a call option, a 730 or a 720 call option, basically for Friday. And if the stock closes above that price, you surrender your stock, but you also get the in premium for the call option. Currently, these call options are selling for $20 and $30 and $40, some of them, per share, which makes it a very profitable trade. It makes it about a $2,000 to $3,000 trade that you can make. Very interesting way to go. I've done this very successfully. Let's see. Copper gold ratios are an all-time low. Do you think this is a good indicator of a coming reversal? Wow, that's very, very interesting what you're saying. I typically I don't necessarily look at the copper gold ratio, though I think that's very, very valid. I primarily look at the oil to gold ratio, because that's the oil, basically the oil and gold trade basically in tandem. Now with the price, this is the thing. with the price of oil going so much lower, I am not a bull on gold right now, because typically when gold is an inflation hedge, and with oil dropping where it's dropped to, we just don't have a lot of we just don't have a lot of interest in gold, right? I mean, not a lot of interest in gold. We just don't have a lot of potential inflation in the market, and I just think that until we get to the point where the stimulus starts hitting, I don't see it being really a good market necessarily for gold, though it has been going up. So go figure. I'm really at a loss. Basically, what happened today, the Dow rallied, and also Apple rallied, J&J rallied, and Netflix rallied. The one thing, though, I think you have to look at, though, is how Tesla is doing, because really that's the new economy. I think that is the new industrial economy, and it's up significantly. So the question is, do we go back into Tesla at these levels? I personally am a Tesla bull, but only above 680, and it's definitely above 680. It's significantly above 680. It went up $60 at the open. Now it's pulling off its highs a little bit, but I think we may be into potentially a new bull market. We'll see if we have a follow-through day, but we might be. Let's see. Did we miss the bottom? Well, many reports today calling for a bottom test. I think there's going to be a bottom test. I think there's going to be a bottom test, and I'm kind of expecting that. Though, I mean, there was just this explosive rally today. So again, I'm all in cash. I'm waiting. If the market reverses, I'm definitely going to be short, and to see if we're going to move down a little bit. But currently, there's just a lot of there's the market is being pumped, and you really can't. You really have to move with the trend. I mean, that's really the only thing you can do. Can't believe. Yeah, absolutely. It is. The spider is reaching new highs every day. I would have called, maybe I was wrong about saying that, it was going to bounce at 275. I mean, that should be where it would have reversed, but it's 280 and possibly going higher. So I am not short the spider. I closed my short yesterday. I made a little bit of money and I closed my short, but I am all cash right now, and I don't know exactly when this thing is going to reverse. I am confident that it's going to reverse. This question is, can I call the day and time? Probably not. Probably not. It's really hard to say. Yeah. You also said 292. Yeah. Okay. Well, absolutely. I mean, oil is going down, but ExxonMobil is going up. Yeah. Not that much. Yeah. Well, people are buying quality. I mean, ExxonMobil, XOM is, XOM is a class company. And even with prices of oil low, they don't depend totally on. Yeah, it's okay. It's moving up today a little bit. 43 is currently where it's at. It's currently trading at about 43, which makes it something to look at. I think it's a value at 43, even in this environment of potentially $10 oil. Now, I do think, though, what's going to happen with the oil is that Saudi Arabia is going to back off just slightly, but see, Saudi Arabia is afraid if it backs off its oil production that it may not get its market share back, because there's so many people that want to come in and take the market share from them. So they're really worried about it. That's why they're continuing to pump. Though I think eventually they're going to have to capitulate. I really do. I really think that they're going to have to capitulate. Okay. Where are you getting this data? Well, I primarily get my sources typically are the normal sources that you find, Reuters, also the IBD, and other sources like that. That's what I constantly monitor on the daily basis. Um, for oil, oil is very much trending. It's still trending lower. I mean, okay, now according to J.P. Morgan, and I have this up on the screen, I think I'll show you on Periscope. We're looking at possibly a recovery. They're basically saying that the market is in recovery. I don't think it is. I still think we're going to test the low, and but the question is, I've definitely been wrong this week. That's for sure. So I can't say that I'm right on this one. J.P. Morgan, which is the biggest of the big banks, they had to basically go in and boost their loss reserves, which in normal circumstances would mean that they would take a hit on their stock, but they certainly haven't. So it's just a real interesting thing. They had to put in an extra $6.8 billion taking out into loss reserves, which is a lot for them. I mean, very much so. I think it will retest again. But the moral of the story, never argue with her. Absolutely, it's so true. This is the really name dips. I think it's going to retest too. I think it's going to retest too. Now, will I have exactly the number and the time? No, I won't. I definitely won't. But but I think that they're doing a lot of confidence building here, and I think that. What we will see. Now, the question is, what is Wells Fargo going to report? The reason the financials are so important in this is because this is where we're going to see the first signs of weakness, if we see weakness at all, which I can't imagine that we wouldn't, because, even though, a lot of people are not working. I mean, and it's just that I don't think a lot of the restaurants are going to reopen after this thing is over with. But, again, I mean, we're seeing new highs on the we're not seeing new highs, but we're not seeing the spider retreat to where I think it needs to be. I think it needs to basically I think it basically needs to be in the range that I was saying before. I think it's got to retest at 218, but again, we're 280, so, and it looks like it's going to go higher. Let's see, sentiment positive, but effects of the balance sheet will tell how bad this. Yeah, exactly. I mean, everybody's happy now, and there's a lot of stimulus that's hit the market. I mean, I know for a fact that the first of the stimulus checks have hit the bank accounts, and that's a really stimulative thing. But it's still going to be it's still going to be a situation where we're going to see. Now, interestingly enough, Amazon is going to move higher, and I definitely think that's a potential play there. There seems to be a separation going on. The NASDAQ 100 is doing much better than the Dow Jones, and so stocks like Boeing and those stocks, they tend to be in difficulty, whereas the normal stocks that we have in the other parts of the market, like Netflix is doing incredibly well, Amazon is doing incredibly well. Of course, I mean, any of the internet related stocks are probably going to do very well in this environment. Now, one laggard from my point of view has been Facebook. I've been in and out of Facebook since the beginning of the year. I've done very well on Facebook. I'm going to look at Facebook is up today. This is really interesting. Yeah, it looks like almost like a cup and handle for Facebook. I don't know. Facebook isn't in breakout, but yeah, 179 looks very good. But again, I'm not holding Facebook right now, so I can't really give you give you anything on that. But anyways, there we go. So let's see. We're having some more questions. How old are you? I'm old. I'm old, man. I wish I wasn't as old as I am, but I am. I'm getting old. Anyways, I'm old. I'm old. I admit it. DPS, Netflix. Yeah, Netflix has just been super. Netflix. All right. Let me get a chart on Netflix here. Yeah, Netflix, there we go. NFLX. NFLX. Yeah, Netflix. Wow. Just wow. Look at that. Netflix is just moving. Oh man. Netflix just had a major breakout. Wow. It could be moving. Well, that's a very good stocks that we ought to be looking at. Netflix, Nvidia, Viva Systems, all good stocks. So, wow. What do you think of Apple? Apple? Is it Apple? Neglect. Neglect? Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Netflix. Anyways, so that's kind of where we're looking there. I also like to point out that this might. I wouldn't necessarily be rotating in with a full position. Again, I'm going to probably try to do a covered call here on Netflix, not on Netflix, on Tesla, buying 100 shares, then selling the covered call. And I think that probably, at least till the end of the, and just basically till the end of the week, not any longer than that, because I'm not really holding anything very long right now, to see what happens. 150 max jets canceled for Boeing. Yeah, okay. Well, I think the reason Tesla is going up so much is because Tesla really represents the new industrial world that we're going to see emerge after after this thing comes to fruition. I do believe that we're going to see a resurgence of manufacturing back in the United States, and I think Tesla, believe it or not, is going to lead that, because I do see that the world, at least in the developed world, is going to move towards electric vehicles. There's just no question this is going to happen. And, they've got a full order book. Nobody else does. That's why I think that the capital is moving there. Now, with Boeing, I'm not surprised that 150 MAX jets were canceled. I am absolutely not surprised at that at all. I think that, maybe, at least for now, the world may have too many jets, if you can believe that. I don't, I go to Asia typically every year, and it's always crowded, but I don't think that's going to be the case after this coronavirus. I think it's going to move down a lot. So, Boeing may be a short. I don't know. Really hard. Thoughts on gold and silver? Well, I do think personally, though I don't really have any thing to back this up, I do believe that by the end of summer, I think we're going to see very much movement in gold. And the reason I do is because there is all of this capital, this cash that's coming into the system. It doesn't really have anywhere to go. It's either going to go to it's either going to go into stock or into real estate or potentially into gold. I think it's going to possibly go into gold because I think there's a lot of problems with the stock market at the valuations that it's currently at. I think that the stock market needs to test the lows and readjust. I don't know if we're in a bear market. I was pretty much convinced that we were in a bear market. I still think we are, but I do think that this is a movement. This is a leg up. I do think, though, that once all this stimulus hits, it's going to go into assets. It's not necessarily going to go into production, unfortunately, or consumption. And I do think it's going to go into support the markets. And I do think that's inflationary, because I do think that, it's going to go into inflation assets. So in that sense, I do think that gold is probably a buy, but it's probably only a buy at about 1350, and not at the levels that it's at. So I don't know. I can't. I don't know. I'm not really a gold bug that much. Gold doesn't do very well typically in times of deflation. In times of inflation, it does very well. We kind of have this weird thing. We're in a deflationary cycle, part of the cycle, because there's so much lack of demand in the market. But with all this stimulus, we may move very quickly into an inflationary segment of the market. Now, the thing about inflation is typically it's, you see asset prices going up. You also see rents going up. I don't see that. I see rents basically being very weak. I don't see a lot of strength in the rental market. So time will tell. It's really, really hard to say. What's your prediction for the 10-year Treasury interest rates? That's a very good question. Thank you for asking about the Treasuries. The Treasury right now, the Treasury has been at historically low prices. This is the reason I believe that we're in a deflationary cycle, because if we were in an inflationary cycle, we would see these rates much higher than they are. They practically are negative interest rates in this country right now, practically negative. And basically, the Treasury is just really a place to park money. It's not productive at all. But yet, still, because of the potential with the market, you still see people buying more and more Treasuries. It's as if the world now is buying the U.S. Treasuries as a hedge against their own currencies. So go figure. In 2008, after the market went down 15%, it came back 10% before it went. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, very, very good. RJC 56. Very, very good point you're making. I do believe we're going to retest the lows, and I've been saying that. I do believe that test the lows. I am not long, and that's the reason I'm not long. Whenever basically my MO when this happened is whenever I see the market reversing, even just for a day, I'm short. And then when it comes back, I'm out into cash again. That's been my MO. So I do think we're going to retest. I think we're going to go down. This market has to pop. What the heck is the SPY riding on? I think the SPY is just riding basically on sheer. I think the SPY is riding just on sheer pump from the government. I just think that the S&P 500. This is moving into stocks. People are not selling. It's pushing the asset prices up again. What I'm afraid is happening here is that they're basically getting it so that all the retail investors are going to come back into the market, and then the professional investors are going to sell and leave the retail investors holding the bag. Now, part of the reason I think that this is a issue is because the baby boomers who are basically retiring now have a tremendous amount invested in the market, and they have a tremendous amount to lose. So there you go. I don't know. Very, very hard to say. Okay, Bobby. What the heck is this doing? Yeah, yeah, the market has to pop. Yeah. What the exactly. Do you think far away will go? Yes, I think 401ks midterm are in a lot of danger. And I was trying to basically say to everyone, at the beginning of March that you should get into cash because we might be into heavy weather. That was what my indicators were saying, and my indicators basically are just the same as a lot of other people's. I typically follow the financial press, but the IBD in particular, and that's what their financials That's what their financials were saying, and I truly believe it. I think that again, we did move. I think that this is we're moving up. The question is, how long are we going to be at this this movement? I don't know, but I don't think it's sustainable. I really don't think it's sustainable, and I think we're going to see it move down. I think Nasdaq stocks are okay for the short term. Nasdaq stocks, I do agree with you. I think that if you're looking for potential growth stocks, the best growth stocks, they're mostly in the Nasdaq. They're mostly in the Nasdaq. The reason I'm fixated on the S&P 500 is that it's a wider market indicator than just the Nasdaq. But the really growth stocks are in the Nasdaq. Now, that's one of the reasons I want to point to the trading in Tesla. A lot of people have been resistant to the fact that Tesla may end up becoming a leading stock, but I'm not. I think that it's going to replace some of the industrial stocks potentially. Maybe not this year, but definitely next year and going forward. So that's one you really want to look at, because that's the one that I think could really change the makeup and it could restart the economy. I mean, I think if we come out of this little period, moving production back to the United States. It's funny. I just saw a thing on CNBC where they're building robots in San Antonio, Texas, close to here. Well, not that close to here. I'm in Dallas, but the demand is going way up. We could create a new economy in this country, which would be terrific. Based on robotics, based on data, based on a lot of other things. And Tesla definitely is the marquee in terms of that. So it's a very interesting time. What's USO going to do? Okay, let's see. Everyone, let's look here really quickly. Everyone now forgets the deferred mortgage payments. Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Boy, that's a good point. The one to look at that is the XLRE. The XLRE is the real estate REIT. It's up today. That's interesting. Wow. Okay. Well, I guess there's optimism. Yeah. Okay. But it opened lower. Interesting. Yeah. I think rental payments are going to be a massive problem. I just think a lot of the REITs are going to have trouble, and I also think the mortgage companies are going to have trouble. There's a mortgage servicer here in Dallas named Mr. Cooper. What a name. They service something like 30% of all the mortgages in the United States, and I don't think they are going to be able to make their payments. That's just my opinion. Okay. What's USO going to do? USO. Let me look at USO real quick here. USO. This is the oil fund. Wow. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, it's down $4.67. It's low of all time is $4. I don't think this could get much lower. It's got very strong buying. Boy, I don't know. Very, very, very interesting. Yeah, see, this. Thank you for bringing USO open. USO up. That's a very good indicator. That's a deflationary sign, everybody. That's a deflationary sign. With oil moving the way it's moving, that's deflationary. And deflation is not pretty, but that is a very much deflationary sign. So should we go all cash? I'm all in cash right now. I can't tell you what to do, but I'm all in cash. NBA needs NBA needs $10 billion to cover. Wow, look at that. Where will they all get that? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Thank you. Very, very astute. This is why I think that, when those mortgage payments hit, I mean, that's the reason that they did the stimulus. That's the real reason, is so that, these REITs wouldn't miss their payments. And I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna, and I think it's gonna hit the XLRE hard. And yeah, I think that, boy, the U.S. I think a better one is Gush. I agree with Bobby on this one. I think Gush is one you want to look at. It's down today. It's 24. I don't know. It probably is. I'm trying to figure out the direction of the oil market myself. I really am, because I think that even with electric cars, even with a lot of other stuff coming on, oil is still the lifeblood of the economy. And it's the kind of thing where if we have oil and oil prices are main, so much of our employment is in the oil sector. I mean, this is something, at least living here in Texas, that you really realize. And it is such a producer of wealth in this country. I don't see how, with oil being so cheap, that we are, that we're out of the woods. I'm not saying that it has to be, it has to be huge, the price of oil, but at these rates, it's not sustainable. So, yeah, it's not that low. Well, it's true. Here's the thing. Well, it's true. It's a little bit higher quality, but yeah, I mean, I think that I don't think it's going to go much lower. I can't see US going much lower than $4. I mean, maybe it will. Anything can happen, but I don't think. And I think that oil will eventually go up. There's just no question about it. But the question is when, and that's a really, really good question. So I guess this is, yeah. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. The reason that reverse typically, because they want to be a better trade. The guy very, very high, was at a very high level. Was trading, I think, I don't know, several thousand. They wanted to get it back into a trading range. That's typically what they'll do when they'll do that. It doesn't change the underlying value of the asset at all. It just creates more or less shares. In this case, they created more shares in the fund. So that's really all reverse. That's all a split really does. It doesn't change the underlying value. But I do not know why they did it. Let's see. Hi, Jim. How can you develop risk ranges for each stock? Wow. Wow. This is a very good question. What's the best drip ETF? Dividend reinvestment. Wow. Boy, if this was a normal market, and you had a long-term horizon, I would say buy the spider. I don't say buy the spider now because the market's so weird. I've known more people over the years that have done better just buying the spider. But I have to get back to you on a good drip that has good reinvestment. I really will. Is direction? I don't think so. I don't think direction is a problem. The TVIX is lower than it has been last month. Thoughts? Absolutely, Bobby. We just, volatility is coming off. The TVIX is a inverse on notes, and when there's a lot of change in the VIX, that's when the TVIX really pops. I think that we kind of, the market is calming down. The VIX is moving down. Therefore, the TVIX is going to go lower. The TVIX really is just about it's about volatility. So it's not going forward. It's probably not going to be, you're not going to see the spectacular moves. Now is the time to start identifying potential candidates that aren't going to recover after we come out of this. And that's, and I'm trying to do that now. I really don't have any good candidates. I put Macy's on there. yesterday, but I'm not so sure about that. I mean, they're going to probably go down, but they're only trading about $5, so there's not a lot of juice there. I don't think DirectGen's in trouble. I don't think so. I don't think they are at all. Any comment on developing risk ranges? Okay, that's a good one. BCRX. Let me look at that. BCRX. All right. This is the interesting. This is a buy-up. Real hard to play this one. Real hard to play this one. It's up strongly today, but it's thinly traded. A lot of action on it, though. My thoughts on this? Probably stay away. There's better deals out there than this. It's better to short something than take this. Any comment on developing risk ranges, please? It would really help. Well, right now, the risk in the market is very high. And the reason it is because the VIX is very high. When the VIX is high, the risk typically in the market is high. So when the risk is high, I tend to remain in cash. I sell my positions. I go to all cash, and then as the VIX lowers, that's when I start to put on trades. I don't really, as I say, my trades have been very short. Have been very, very short term up until now, because the market just, it's just very, very hard to figure out. The the Nasdaq is holding up really, really well, which is a good sign, because that means that the growth stocks in the market are going to be the leaders out of this. They're going to be the IBD 50. They're going to be those kind of stocks that are going to lead us out of this. But right now, there's a lot of risk in the market. The market is very volatile, and that is why I am, I'm in cash. Most of my trades have been short, meaning that I will borrow the shares, sell the shares, and then rebuy them at a lower price. So that's really how it is. Stocks have done. Yeah, absolutely. Mark Mobius is right. Have not seen an absolute bottom yet. So most, yeah. This is really. Thank you for bringing this up. Thank you. We haven't seen a bottom yet. That's why I'm short, and that's why I'm in cash. It's a really, really tough time, because I got up this morning and I was looking and I was like, wow, Tesla's gone up $60. I could have made 5 G's right then, but I'm like, no, it's not the right time yet. I'm still leery. I want to go and put my toe back in the water, but I'm afraid of getting a bit off. So I think we are going lower, but I can't tell you when. What are you shorting in the current market? Yeah, thank you. Primarily right now, until I get until the head and shoulders pattern emerges on various stocks, I am shorting indexes. Why? What do I mean by indexes? I'm talking about the index ETFs, the QQQ, the SPY, the DIA, those kind of things. So that's what I'm shorting right now. The reason I'm shorting is because that's directional only. That's directional only. That's how I'm dealing with it. Now, if we get beyond that, then I'm going to go into individual stocks. I'm trying to build a watch list right now of stocks that have what they call a head and shoulders pattern. And if there's any traders out there watching, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about with this pattern. This is sort of a pattern that will show stocks that are getting ready basically to collapse in price. And I think that once we come out of this this mini recession, and I think it may just be a V-shaped mini recession, but I still think we're going to test the lows. I don't think this is going to be forever, but I don't think we're done with this. I just don't. And when we come out of it, that's when the shorts really pay off. And that's what I'm trying to put together right now. And I really don't have anything for you. Which will Gush go down further? Really hard to say. So is the SQQQ a good buy at this price? Well, the SQQQ is a buy because the SQQQ is an inverse ETF. The SQQ is a buy when the market is changing direction. And typically, you will find that by the overnight futures. What will happen is the overnight futures will trade lower or higher depending on what the market direction is going to move for that day. If they are trading lower, then you want to be in the SQQQ. Today, because everything is moving higher, you want to be in the companion product, which is the TQQQ. So basically, you're jumping in and out depending on what the direction of the market is. If you believe that the market is going down, then you go in the SQQQ. But don't go in for a very long time. It's not really an investment vehicle. It's totally directional. So it's not a long-term investment at all. I could have made so much money. It's true. You always say that, you know. What did you buy since the uptrend? I've bought nothing. I mean, right now I've bought nothing. I am looking to do a trade on Tesla if depending on how it opens tomorrow, if the market opens tomorrow. And it's a very tentative trade. It's to buy 100 shares of Tesla, sell a covered call basically for Friday, and then be out by Friday. So that's what I'm looking at. I have not done that trade. Now, if Tesla weakens somewhat, I'm afraid that if I do it now, Tesla will weaken and then tomorrow it'll adjust. So I am not putting that trade on now. I'm going to wait to see what happens to Tesla tomorrow. If it holds the line, if it holds 700, then I'm probably going to buy 100 shares, sell the 720 or the 710 call for Friday. That's probably what I'm going to do, and that will be my trade. Let's see. What do you think about Amazon? Amazon is just skyrocketing. I think Amazon is it's like Tesla. It's one of these new economy stocks. It's just going to do better and better. It's just going to do better and better. It's just one of those things that it's just been so powerful in terms of the way it's the action on it. It's been fantastic. So that's really the thing. Then I buy with FMO and boom, damn, thing reverses. Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. You've got to be really careful about how the problem is you've got to anticipate these moves. A lot of times, by the time you're in them, they're going to reverse on you. So this is why you got to be very, very tentative in terms of the way you're going. And this is the reason why I've been trading directionally rather than pretty much in any individual stock. This is the reason I do short. This is why I do short. And then when I go long, I typically buy just I'll buy 200 or 300 shares of the TQQQ, but I won't hold it. I won't hold it maybe a day. And that's to go long. So very, very interesting. How about the TVIX? Looking for a pullback on Amazon. I don't know if there might be a little bit of a pullback, but I doubt it. What do you think? Small income is safe to buy now? No, I think the oil patch is really dangerous place to be right now. A lot of companies are going to go under. A lot of the E&P companies are going to go. That's the exploration and production companies. Those are the ones that actually drill the oil. They're going to go under. Now, one of the things I do know is that in the Permian, which is the biggest oil area for the United States, it's onshore, the lease prices have not been holding up. So that tells me that going forward, it's not bullish. So I do believe you got to be careful. I mean, some of these companies like Apache, they may have trouble. Apache or possibly Concho Resources are probably not gonna do as well. The sniffing out new. Let me look at the TVIX right now because that is such an interesting security. The TVIX, that really is volatility. Let me just look at the chart on that. Wow, look at that. Yeah, it's at 197 right now. Wow. Okay. Well, that tells you something, doesn't it? It tells you that's almost a perfect blow off top. That tells me very, very, very distinctly that it looks as if volatility, and look at the numbers, they're going way down. Yeah, I think we're moving out of a volatility phase. I don't think it's going to be quite as volatile going forward. That's what that's telling me. So not something you want to not something you want to invest in really right now. The TVIX. Your better bet, probably at least initially for the next few days, is probably the TQQQ. Let's look at that. TQQQ. That's the long. Yeah. Okay. That's doing quite well. You might want to look tentatively at the TQQQ. It's trading for 63 right now. It's up significantly today. It's up about $3 a day. It's about 5% today. That's definitely something you want to look at. I have $100,000 saved up. I want to quit my job and invest in trades. I'm a beginner. Send me a message. This is exactly what I did. By the way, this is exactly what I did. Go to DallasTradingFloor.com. Send me a message, and I'll definitely reach out to you on the phone and see what we can do for you. But yeah, I mean, I did this about 2 years ago. I kind of quit my job. I just trade now and invest in things. So it's been worked out for me. So anyways, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. You can make a lot of money. It's kind of amazing actually when you really think about it. So this is so anyways, it's DallasTradingFloor.com. Just pop on there, send me a comment, and I will definitely return the call. With all this artificial pump, when it pops, yeah, that's the thing. It is tremendously volatile right now. RSI is very high. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe overbought. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I mean, this is what I'm worried about. This is why I'm in all cash. I am not. Is because I do believe that there is a strong overbought sentiment right now, and it could reverse by the end of the week, but we don't know because again, we haven't seen reporting season. So, yeah, that's a good question. USO might be a good one long term. I think so. Let's see. Is there a calm before the storm? I think you're right, Bobby. I do. I think that what's happening is that they're setting everybody up for big losses. They've calmed the market, saying, "Oh, it's going up. Everyone get back in. It's wonderful. Invest your life savings." And then the big boys are going to come in and they're going to whack the market, and it's going to suck for a lot of people. I do think we're coming into a serious time when there's going to be shorting out there. Well, I have wasted another 50 minutes of your time, and I just so appreciate everyone coming and looking at me online. It's great. I am going to try to build out my watch list and share it with everyone. If you want to be on my email list, I'm creating an email list for alerts. And it's just kind of just doing it myself, kind of what I'm doing in the market. If you go to DallasTradingFloor.com and just go in and ask a question, put your name and address in there, and I will get to all the questions. And I hope to see you again tomorrow as well. Spy jump because stimulus check. Yeah, exactly. I think you're right. Yeah, Long. That's right. That's right. I think so. The stimulus checks came today, so the SPY is going to go up. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Hey, thanks everyone. Again, and it's great. It's great doing the show, and it's great seeing you all. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye. And everybody out there in TV land, as they used to say, go to DallasTradingFloor.com. Leave me a comment. I'll try to get to everybody. This is a really interesting time to be in the market. There's a potentially for a lot of money. I don't think that this is going to be a sustained rally, but you never know. I will be back tomorrow with episode number 26. Again, everybody, talk to you soon and happy trading. Bye-bye.